Good morning, Comsit. I'm Robert.
And I'm Julia. Welcome to AMS TV News for the week of April 27th.
Let's get things started with the week's Words of Wisdom with Richard.
Good morning in Compton Middle School. This is Richard with a few words of wisdom. One last goose story. When one of the geese gets sick or is wounded by a gunshot and falls down, two geese fall out with him. They follow him down and stay with him until he can either fly again or dies. In this article titled The Sense of a Goose, Thomas J. Watson wrote, "If we have the sense of a goose, we will stand by each other. Geese understand the importance of surrounding themselves with friends who will share not only the journey, but also the burden. They choose friends who will uplift and encourage them all the way, and they know the importance of standing by those they care about, through the good times and the bad. Think about how different the world would be if we human beings had as much sense as a goose. It's something to think about. This is Richard. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours."
Thanks, Richard. All 8th grade students are encouraged to complete the Google survey. The results will be included in this year's yearbook. Please go to the link below or to the library website to participate.
The Smithtown West Leadership class is collecting birthday party supplies for the Birthday Party Wishes organization and would appreciate any donations. Please check the main lobby for a list of supplies needed and for the collection box.
Every Tuesday, all students are encouraged to donate biodegradable food waste into the collection bin located in the cafeteria. The food waste will go directly into our new composter.
Now it's time for our featured artist. Last week's artist was Roy Lichtenstein. The winner was Kathleen A. Congratulations. Now here's our next artist.
Here are the clues for our next featured artist. She was one of the first female artists. Her love of nature inspired her large-scale paintings of flowers. She was also known for her paintings of desert scenes and animal bones. She lived to be 98 years old and continued to paint until her death. Here's an example of one of her works of art. Do you recognize her work? If you think you know the artist, stop by the library and submit your answer.
Thanks, and now let's turn things over to Julia and Sarah in Studio B.
Thanks, guys. Students from the Digital Media Club had the opportunity to meet with Ms. Fitzgerald from the Smithtown Children's Foundation and Ms. Migland from Akamsit Elementary School.
They are involved in Mike's Hike, an event that honors Mr. De Niro, a second grade teacher who has passed away a few years ago. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is Anthony, and we are here with Mrs. Fitzgerald from Smithtown Children's Foundation and Mrs. Migland from Akamsit Elementary. They are here to talk to us about Mike's Hike. Can you tell us a little bit about Mr. De Niro?
Sure. Mr. De Niro was a second grade teacher at Akamsit Elementary, and unfortunately during the school year got sick and passed away. And he was one of our favorite scientific second grade teachers who always had creepy, crawly, gross things in his classrooms and always had a funny nickname for all of his kids. So he passed away about 5 years ago now.
Okay, how did Mike's Hike get started?
Well, we wanted to do something for the students and for the community and for the staff to remember Mr. De Niro without being too sad. So we wanted to do something that would honor his memory being outdoors because he was an avid outdoorsman. So we just wanted something to do that everyone could get excited about and not feel so sad about Mr. De Niro's death.
How did the Smithtown Children's Foundation get involved?
Well, Mrs. Migland and Miss Linetto, another teacher at Akamsit, came to us and said, "We heard you did a run with the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, and we did a run called Smiles for Stephanie. Help us put this together, and maybe we can do a scholarship in Mr. De Niro's memory, and help raise funds for the Smithtown Children's Foundation to help others in the community."
How do you honor Mr. De Niro's memory?
Every year when we have the race, his family gets invited and they're part of the experience, and they get to speak to some of his old students, and some of the students come back and they share memories that they've had about being in Mr. DeNaro's class or knowing him from being in the hallways or from meeting him around the school.
And I didn't even know him. I live on the other side of town, but I feel like I know him because I've heard all these great stories about him and how much the kids, miss him. And I understand he used to walk around the halls with his white lab coat. He was like your mad scientist at a concert, I think. And in fact, he was hiking on the Greenbelt Trail when he passed, so he was doing what he loved. I also think it helps his family heal because they get to hear these stories, happy stories and happy memories of Mike and his day-to-day job.
How does this event help his students, family, and the community?
I think that what you just touched upon was that it helps the family heal because there's meeting with people who still think about Mr. DeNaro and still want to remember good memories about him. But it's also helping the community because Mr. DeNaro was a teacher. He did care for the children of Smithtown. He did care for the people of Smithtown. So doing this race, we're able to raise some money. Some of the money goes towards a scholarship that High School East and High School West students can apply for if they're going to school to learn how to be a scientist of some sorts. So I think that he would love that we were making this connection with the community.
And that it's for science, I think, is probably, he would like that. And then we also take some of the funds, and the Smithtown Children's Foundation uses those funds for our mission, which is to help local families in crisis. Somebody's sick, somebody's financially in trouble, can't pay a bill.
Needs a car.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff is what we've been there for. And the scholarship is really nice because what we do with the families, and we do this with all of our scholarships, is we meet. Once the applications come back from guidance from both High School East and West, we meet, we have a nice dinner, and the groups sit down and review their applications. And so they come together and they realize they're not the only family that might be grieving. And so they connect with one another on that level. And then award night, when the awards are actually given to the students, it gives the family the opportunity to stand up and have a minute of fame for their loved one, to say who that person was or how they lived their life, and what they meant to them.
How can people get involved?
There's so many ways to get involved.
You could run.
You could be a runner. There's a fun run for people who just want to do one lap around. There's a 4K race. 4K race around the school property, so it's safe and away from traffic.
Yeah.
You could volunteer to be one of the helpers helping to stand on the run route. You can get a group of your friends together to run.
And walk. There's a 2K walk. Yeah.
If you don't want to run, you can walk or stroll with your family. We need volunteers to help out with the little children. We need volunteers to help out on the run route. You can get a group
passing out water. Yeah.
You can get a group from any of your clubs at school to get together and either run or get together and volunteer as a group together.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for answering
Thank you for having
questions.
us. Thank you for
You're
having
welcome.
us.
Thank you for having us.
We hope to see you all at Mike's Hike.
Yes.
And thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
May 30th.
May 30th. Yes.
Remember, all money raised will go to a scholarship for Smithtown students interested in science and to the Children's Foundation. If you're interested in walking, running, or just helping out, pick up a flyer in the library.
Also, Ralph's Italian Ices on Maple Avenue in Smithtown will be doing a pre-Mike's Hike fundraiser, and the Consett Elementary teachers will be doing the scooping on May 14th.
The book fair will be coming to the AMS library on May 8th. All money raised will help to support our digital media lab. Here's to Evan to tell us about one of the featured books.
One of the book fair featured books is Jungle of Bones by Ben Michelson. Dylan has finally crossed the line. After enjoying a ride in a stolen vehicle, he must go live with his Uncle Todd, an ex-Marine. Uncle Todd has big plans for his nephew. During World War II, a bomber plane called the Second Ace was shot down in the underbrush of a New Guinea jungle. Dylan's grandfather was the only survivor. And, now that the jungle has covered any evidence of the plane and the remains of the crew members, now, at Uncle Todd's insistence, Dylan is on a mission to find it. What he discovers about himself, however, may be more important.
And now it's time for this week's edition of Who Am I? Last week, our entry was Miss Stuffy. Christina guessed correctly. Congratulations. Now let's take a look at this week's Who Am I? Submit your guess in the library or online at amsdmc.com.
And now here's Anthony with the featured app.
Hi, I'm Anthony with our third featured app. We have iCut, a puzzle game. It is 99 cents but is very fun. There are 1,008 levels, which 800 of them are to be unlocked. Reviews say a new type of puzzle game, brand new puzzle, and puzzle fans should be delighted. Its overall rating is 4.5 stars. It's in version 2.1 and it's educational. Thanks for tuning in to this week's featured app.
Thanks, Anthony. Remember to follow AMS on Twitter and SCSD_AMS.
Thanks for tuning in to AMS TV News. Have a great week.